Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. We have two bourbon whiskeys. Jeff. This is Jesse James, America's Outlaw Bourbon, and this is a lead bottle. It was introduced in 2011, and I bought this. It has like the finish on paper is sort of like sketch paper, like if you had a sketch pad from a good art supply house, sketch pad. Okay, and this product was introduced in 2011. This particular bottle is a 2-year aged. How did I get a 2-year aged bourbon? Where the website says 3 years. I don't know if this is an early bottling, and from what I can tell on the date code, it is not. It's just an alternative bottling for some weird reason. But anyway, the website says age 3 years. This bottle is 2 years. So this whiskey's at least 24 months old. And I did see one other video review where the guy did have one from, like I said, a 2-year age. Okay, this is bottled in California. Where's the bourbon from? Well, it could be from anywhere, any American state. And it could be a blend of bourbons from different American states. That doesn't matter. The requirement is it has to come from the United States. It has to be aged in new charred oak barrels. And there's no age minimum for bourbon, no matter what people say. They'll tell you 2 years, 4 years. You hear all kind of years. For straight bourbon, it's 2 years. For bourbon, there's no age requirement. It just has to be aged in new charred oak. I've seen 6-month-old bourbon on the shelves. I didn't buy it. So this liter bottle was $7.99. So $7.99 for a liter. Crazy, right? True, crazy, but true. At Savannah Discount. Where else? The famous Savannah Discount. White label. Okay. And this is from a company called American Outlaw Spirits. Jesse James Dupree is the owner. He's involved in the music and apparel and sports. Spirits business. Sports. You might like sports too, but music, apparel. Like you can order vests and cowboy boots from him with his thing on there, and then spirits. And they have a cinnamon flavored whiskey, a spiced whiskey, and so forth. This is their bourbon. Jethro tea boots with this like real fine grained sandpaper finish, and a familiar bottle. If you've had Benchmark, you know the bottle. Jethro tea boots, introduced in 2014. There's a picture of Jethro tea boots, a drawing. He died in 1921. He was born in 1841. Jesse James was killed in 1882. That's why they say since 1882. Yeah, sure, since 2011. And now their company will say, no, we don't mean the company, we mean the legend. That's what they mean. This is produced in Kentucky at Sour Mash Bourbon Whiskey. No age statement, which means it's at least 4 years old. 4 years old. Kentucky straight Sour Mash Bourbon Whiskey. Sour Mash, like Old Crow or Ancient Ages Sour Mash, which is just a process. Does it make the whiskey better? Depends who's selling it. They're going to tell you, yeah, or it's an old way of doing it. My prediction is that, the price. $8.99 for this bottle, regular size, not a liter, but $8.99 at CVS Pharmacy. They have their own brands, and this says to be sold only at CVS Pharmacy. There's a tag on the back. And they say if you see it anywhere else to call this number. But there's very little chance you're going to see it anywhere else because it's a private label brand. It's made only for CVS Pharmacy by, a big company. You say Legacy Distilling. No, I'm not familiar with them. Yeah, but you might be familiar with Buffalo Trace, which is one of their alias names, Legacy Distilling Company. It's like Trader Joe's, the contractor for Trader Joe's, they'll try to distance themselves from who they are, and they'll be like, oh, we're a Joseph's Brow Distilling, Joseph's Brow Brewing. Oh, really? You mean Gordon Biersch? But they don't want to use Gordon Biersch's name, you see, so they're all kind of Rhinelander Brewing. They don't mind using their name, but that's really Ninhas. But it's actually, there is a Rhinelander brewer in Rhineland, Wisconsin. ABC XYZ says Virginia CVS has it. I thought in Virginia only liquor stores could sell liquor, like those ABC stores, unless they changed the law. I thought Virginia was one of those control states like Iowa or New Hampshire where you had to buy from a state liquor store. Hi, Jay, huge fan, says Daniel Boyd. Hello, Daniel. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. So first thing we'll notice is that the Jethro T Boots is a good deal darker, not a little darker. So they're probably using a heavy charred oak barrel. Now I might have poured too much just now. I'm not going to sit here and go up, 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 up so I can get it totally even. Nah, it's even. So this is copper or mahogany, like tan, whatever. I'm not a color expert, but it looks like that. Light brown, what they say. This is gold. So look at the difference. Pretty clearly different. Why? Because of the aging? Well, obviously not, because the dark one is 2 years old and the light one is over 4 years. It can't be that. So it has to be something else. And my guess, and I think it's an excellent guess by using deduction, is that it is using a number 4 char or a number 3 char. They're using a heavier barrel char, whereas the Jethro T Boots appears to be using the lightest char, number 1 char, a thin layer of charred oak. It's allowed. Obviously, it's allowed. It's one of the layers, the levels. How's that going to make it taste? Well, you know the answer there. It's going to be very light. The one with the heavy char is going to be, you would assume, and usually you'll find out, it'll be a heavy charred oak flavor. Some people will like that. Others won't. Some people will maybe have mixed feelings about it. Why is Jethro T Boots not listed as straight bourbon? It just says bourbon. Well, it could be that it's a blended bourbon, but usually those will have like natural flavors added or something like that, and it'll say bourbon a blend or blended bourbon. I think it's because they're using bourbons from different states. Like Kentucky, Indiana, Missouri, and they're blending them together and they're bottling it in California. So they're just calling it bourbon because they don't have necessarily the desire to track it in the sense that they want to say, oh yeah, we can prove to the government it's straight bourbon. Instead of being bothered with all of that, they just say it's bourbon. And then they say, well, we got it from these people. And they say, oh, those companies, oh yeah, they make bourbon. That's as far as it's going to go. They know they are aging it in new charred oak barrels. And look at George Dickel. They got rye whiskey, but it doesn't say it's straight rye. It just say rye. That smells like charred oak and corn. Do I pick up wheat or rye or anything else? I don't. And I did not pick it up in any of these so far. No, not with the Virginia Black, not with the Ancient Age, not with the Cooper's Craft or any of them. Now, do they have a little rye and a little barley whiskey, barley malt whiskey blended in, or wheat whiskey? They could, very well could. I just haven't detected any, and wouldn't matter as long as it's 51% corn. It's fine, no problem. Can you make a whiskey that's like a majority of no grain? You know, can it be 25% corn, 25% wheat, 25% barley, malted barley, 25% rye? Sure, you sure could. No problem that at all. It just would have to just be called whiskey. You know, and then you could give the mash bill and whatnot, or not give it. It could not be called bourbon whiskey. See? Or as they say in England and Wales, I noticed they call it Bourbon. Bourbon. They say, oh, this beer is aged in Bourbon barrels. So where did they come up with that? Don't they know there's an R in that word? It's bourbon. Bourbon. Well, maybe you could say it's, well, maybe it should be Bourbon. Bourbon. Okay, that's a compromise. We're saying bourbon like it's B-U-R, burb, the suburbs, and they're saying Bourbon as though it's B-O-U-B-O-N, Bourbon. So $7.99 I paid for the Jesse James, not the normal price, people. It's $18, and that's for a 750. $18.99, $19 for a 750. Not $7.99 for a liter. Okay, so a liter is going to cost you probably in around $22. But I stumbled across it, $7.99 for the liter. I was happy. Now, is the $8.99 the normal price for the Jethro tea boots? It is right now. It's on sale right now. Well, they might have changed it. It's August. August is over. Now we're in September. Could have dropped the sale. But yes, that was the normal price. As long as you had your little CVS card, they could swipe it, or you could type in your phone number, then you get the price. Okay, cheers. I don't know about on the aroma. I can't figure it out. And I'm gonna do the comments once I open my eyes, but I can't look because I'll be able to tell right off the first bat, just from looking at the color. This has a pretty intense corn, charred oak, vanilla, the nectar, like from honeysuckle. Yes. At 2 years age, is it a little hot, a little young? Oh, well, yeah, I suppose so. But that never seems to bother me. Now, if you drink a lot of it, it's going to bother you. You know, you're going to feel hot. And foolish, you should feel foolish because you're not using moderation. Let's go over here. Okay. Getting charred oak. You say what level? I don't know. Corn, roasted corn. It's like roasted corn. Like if you go to Mexico, like I've been to Reynosa and Nuevo Laredo and Matamoros, and they have these grills, and they be roasting these sticks with corn on it, corn on the cob, and it makes like a corn nuts. You know, you could chew it up. It wouldn't be chewy though; it'd be crunchy, like a snack. It tastes like the corn nuts, smell like that. But these are the Mexican, like, or natural, really made by hand. Now sometimes sour mash bourbon, it'd be tasting like sourdough bread. or like a sourdough bagel, like Thomas or Linder's sourdough bagel. Hmm. I think this one, it's kind of hot, but it's good. It's really good, and it tastes like it might be darker, like a deeper char, like what it appears to be when you look at it. Remember, no coloring added. No coloring added. Can't do it with bourbon. You say, well, with blended bourbon, you can. Yes, with blended bourbon, you can. That's the only class of bourbon you can add coloring and flavor into. So if you see something that says bourbon with natural flavors, you know it's blended because it wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. I finally figured that out. What's the blend ratio? Well, I don't know. As long as it's 51% straight bourbon, the other 49% could even be unaged grain spirits, haven't even been turned into whiskey yet. You could do that, like with 10 high. But anyway, it could be 99% straight bourbon and 1% grain spirits. It would still be called blended bourbon because it wouldn't be 100%. You see, I guess there'd be no advantage to doing that, would there be? Now, is blended bourbon cheaper than straight? Do you see that? I don't see that. This is straight bourbon whiskey right here. I paid $8.99. It's trying to sound like I was from Kentucky, right? Yeah, I paid $8.99. If I went and bought 10 high, it would be $9.99 or $10.99. So that's more. I'm getting less for more. Well, not less because some people prefer it, you see. But I'd rather have the straight. Um, So I think this is the Jesse James. Now, is it better? I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. It's just different. Are they both quality products? Yes. Are they superb products? No, they're not superb. You're not going. The chances of getting a superb product for $7.99 or $8.99, it's just not going to happen. Not for straight bourbon or regular bourbon, but you get pretty good product. So the question could be, can you get a decent quality bourbon for less than $10? Yes, I got one for less than $10 after tax. I paid $9.86. Listen for the silent E. You always want to listen for the silent E. Um, $9.86 after tax. After tax. I repeat it. I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to keep repeating it. Ooh, how sweet it is. Okay, so I'm saying that this is the Jesse James. Oh, ouch. Yikes. Dang it. Now I'm 2 and 3. Boy. Girl. Doggone it. Makes me so angry I could tear a tissue and crush a grape. And that's just not right. But that's the way it goes when you take a guess and you're not too sure, you're taking a risk. You might say you're taking a risk doing the blind taste test because if you get it wrong, it's going to make it look bad. Exactly right. I got it wrong. It made me look bad. All right. So, oh man, this confounding product. I'll tell you what, I thought that this Jethro T Boots was just going to get whipped and killed and obliterated every time. Meaning I thought I'd get it right every time. but that hasn't been the case. I've gotten it right twice. I should have gotten it right 3 times, but that was my own foolishness against Virginia Black, my own carelessness. But the game is over. The score is recorded. So, 2 wins and 3 losses. I don't expect any ties. Could happen, but I don't look for it. 2 wins and 3 losses. You said, well, what does it mean? I think it means that the Jethro T boots is a lot better than you think it would be for $8.99. I really think so. And the blind taste test can cure a lot of ills. Because if you know what you're drinking, it could, and very well will, skew your mentality about the product and your perception of it and your inclination towards it. So guess there's only one thing to say. Wait a minute. There could be more things to say. Did I pour this in the right thing? This looks pretty light. But it could be just because it's such a tiny amount, you know. I don't know. That's got me kind of nervous. Damn. I got to... Don't look at this on air. Just don't look at this. All right. Just don't look at that. All right. So off the air, I'm going to do something. Yeah. You didn't see me. I think I did it wrong. Okay. Wow, very different appearance. Thank you. Oh, you meant the bird. Yeah, right. Dark and light. The Battle of the Doomed Upstarts. For people who hate history, that'll sell, actually, says Chris. It would sell. Craig Winston says, Ron Ontario, the whiskey wizard. Well, I'm not too sure about that now. Hi, Ronald Rue, says Beer Hounds. Hello, Beer Hounds. Bill, if I didn't have to work, I'd watch all your live videos. People have to work. I'm on a day off, but, you know, sometimes you got to work. Like most of the time, people got to work, including me. I work. I have a job. There is not enough hours in the day. There are not enough hours in the day. You're correct. But, you know, we watch what we can. Now, I'm going to stage this again real fast, and I'm not going to pour a lot because I don't really want to drink anymore, I'll tell you the truth. But I'm not going to, it'll be bothering me all day long. I'll be thinking about it like, I did it wrong. Okay. That's the competitor. Trying to be stingy on it anyway because I'm trying to save them for taste challenges. I didn't buy them just to be wasting them. That's the control group. Competitor, control group. Okay. Yeah, okay. Dark and light. Oh man. Some people can do good live tubes. Ron is one of them, says King of the Dots. Oh, thank you. Beerhound says, like Kessler. Wait a minute. What you talking about? Kessler is American blended whiskey. These are bourbons. Of course, American blended whiskey is very often, probably almost always, but not, doesn't have to be, made with bulb, as they say in England, Bourbon, or Wales, Bourbon. Get a kick out of that. Bourbon. All right. So I know I poured it in the right glasses now because I was watching like a hawk. We got these hawks behind here, this house. I think they call spotted hawks or something. They got like a red belly, a rust-colored belly, and spots on the back. They're loud. They're going back and forth, chasing after each other. I always see three of them. So it must be a female and two males are like antagonistic over her. They're big too, but they get real close. You see them in the trees. They're looking down. They're not really interested in me. They see me, but they just too busy fussing, And they go all over the country. They go to Canada, Minnesota, all over. They come to Louisiana sometimes, but but maybe 4 months. Depends on what time of the year. Those birds are amazing. All birds. Corn, the same medicine taste I didn't mention earlier, but I was thinking about corn and that. Not too much char. It's there though. I'm not gonna lie, it's there. Charred oak is there. I gotta call my cousin first cousin once removed. See how he's doing. He had to go to the hospital. Got knocked in the head. He fell. Something. All right. But I think he's doing better now. A lot of people don't understand cousinry. They'll say, well, my mother's first cousin was in the hospital. He's my second cousin. No, your mother's first cousin is not your second cousin. Your mother's first cousin is your first cousin once removed. Once removed by what? A generation, you see. On the upside. But in his case, you're on the downside because you're younger. You're on theoretically younger. Some people would be older than their aunt or uncle. Because you get older people like me, they meet a younger woman, and next thing you know, they all these babies, But because it got so much vitality, you see. And they use Vitalis for their hair tonic too, by the way. That's got to be the ancient age. That's got to be the Jethro T boots, because there's no char on it. I mean, there's a little, but there's really no char. That's not the main feature. The Jesse Jane got the main char feature. I'm gonna say this is the Jethro T boots. It isn't. It's the Jesse James. Well, this just goes to show you the Jesse James does not have the char flavor to match the appearance, which is mind-boggling, but maybe not so mind-boggling. So look how dark this is. Man, this thing is dark like a bourbon that's dark. But the flavor, when you taste it compared to the Jethro T boots, it's got no char. Don't ask me to answer the question because I don't know the answer. I got some ideas. I'm like Travis Bickle right now. I'm thinking some bad thoughts, but I definitely got it wrong now. So I know I poured it right this time. It was no mistake. That was no phantom punch. So woof. Well, it's the way it goes. 2 wins, 3 losses, and no ties. So I gotta just deal with it. I have to deal with it. I think now I don't really know what's going to happen. I think I'm going to have a lot of problems. with this Jethro T boots, which is a good sign for Jethro T boots. Now, maybe bad for me, good for the boots. So we'll see what happens in the next challenge. Phooey on that. Oh well, enough of it. Let's go with the comments. And we got a lot of them. Craig Swenson says, I agree. He is a natural entertainer and a live speaker. Oh, really? You want to see my script? I got to write all this stuff out. All right. Kessler and 7-Up. That's its purpose, beer ham. It's a mixer whiskey. This is King of the Dots. Gary talking all of this. I wish I was into mixers, but at 67 years old, like Hyman Roth. Hope they're accurate about my age. I'm always accurate about my age. I take my bourbon straight, and my beer must be iced. This beer cannot change. Beer Hound said, I like 7-Up too. I take my beer poured in a glass, says Craig Swenson. I take my beer poured in a glass. And I like my sugar with coffee and cream. What do you call a niece by marriage? No blood relation. I guess a niece-in-law? I take my ice beer on ice. Now they're getting all silly. I guess they maybe have been doing a few little challenges themselves. Craig says, hit the like button. King of the Dot says, an ice cold, slushy 7-Up. My goodness, paradise. I'm going to freeze one and add Bourbon. Thanks. I wasn't very good with Legos when I was a puppy. Then one day it clicked, says Beer Hounds. Then it clicked. See, we got comedians over here. Funny bunnies, silly billies. Oh, well, we're going to avoid some of these comments. Okay. Nah, my dad was into the... All right. Well, anyway, see what happens when people imbibe too much during unhappy hour. Anyway, I had a chance to get all those old comic books called The Witching Hour. Didn't buy them because I thought, who in the world wants to read horror comic books? Well, come to find out now, could have made some bank on that. Could have gotten them so cheap. Well, theoretically, people say comic books are worth money, but I don't believe it. That's just the people selling them are saying that. The ones buying them aren't saying that. The people that are buying say they ain't worth nothing. The people selling say, oh, it's a great investment. Anyway, so I got it wrong and I got to live with that, but I'll be back fighting, swinging, and they're not going to bring me down easy. I'm not going down. I'm going to go down like Sonny Liston in the second fight. I'm going to go down like Sonny Liston in the second fight. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.